Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to share with you today a fascinating look into human attraction. The title of our presentation is The Truth About Attraction: Why We Chase the Wrong People. We'll explore why attraction often misleads us, why we tend to overlook those who treat us well, and how you can finally make better choices, choosing the right person instead of chasing an impossible fantasy. So, let's dive in and uncover what really influences our romantic decisions. This isn't about vanity or superficiality. It's actually about biology interacting with social conditioning. We often call this pretty privilege. And what's really interesting is that it works both ways. It influences everyone, not just one side. If you're honest with yourself, you'd probably admit that your reaction to someone changes based on their appearance. When someone you find attractive looks at you, it's naturally flattering. But if someone you don't find attractive is looking at you, it can feel threatening. And here's a subtle but important point. Many people experience a moment they don't talk about much. You might meet someone who seems creepy, but later realize they weren't actually creepy at all. It was just that you weren't attracted to them, and that shifted your perception. What this all shows is that attraction isn't shallow or superficial. It's fundamentally human. It's rooted in biology, yes, but also shaped by social conditioning. And understanding this helps us see how these biases influence our everyday interactions, often in ways we don't even realize. The person who treats you well doesn't create the same emotional chaos that you might be used to. And because of that, you might misinterpret the lack of chaos as a lack of attraction. It's a common trap. Chemistry, on the other hand, is that instant spark. It triggers excitement, adrenaline, mystery, the intoxicating feeling of wanting. Compatibility, though, is different. It offers safety, stability, and emotional reliability, but often starts quietly and subtly. People often confuse chemistry with compatibility. That instant attraction is easy to notice. It's immediate. But compatibility is something you discover over time. That's why the men she desperately wants are often the ones who treat her poorly. It's because those intense feelings of chemistry are linked to that chaos. Meanwhile, the men who treat her best, who are reliable and kind, are often overlooked because they don't spark that same immediate excitement. And then there are the men who come across confidently. They usually aren't her type, because confidence doesn't always equate to chemistry. If I ask any woman, she'll tell you she notices a pattern. The people who treat her best often don't excite her the most. That's a key point to understand as we explore what truly makes a lasting connection. So here's an important point to consider. The modern woman isn't single because she has bad taste or can't choose well. No, she's single because she's learned, often through painful experiences, that the wrong love can really destroy you. It's a protective mechanism, really. She's become more discerning, more cautious. In an ideal world, women could just pick better men, right? But that depends on men being better too, emotionally consistent, loyal, mature, and ready for something real. It's a two-way street. Imagine this. He's strolling through Central Park, relaxed, confident. Meanwhile, she's hacking her way through Jurassic Park, fighting her way through the chaos of modern dating. Their realities are worlds apart. And here's a question I hear often. Why are so many women your age single and struggling to date? And I have to say, as a man, my dating life can seem pretty easy because I have options. But for women, it's a different story. Recently, a man asked a woman in her 30s, "Why are you single and struggling?" That's a real reflection of how different the experiences are. Modern dating isn't the same for men and women. The dynamics, the challenges, they just aren't equal. So, understanding these differences helps us see why singlehood, especially for women, often isn't about choice, but about survival and learning from past hurts. Meanwhile, many women with options don't stay humble themselves. Men see through the double standard. Women want men with options, but also expect those men to remain humble. If I'm everything you claim to want, why am I chasing you? Women expect such men to pursue them, fight for them, and prove themselves. But these men think he knows he doesn't need to convince anyone to want him. They are emotionally grounded, socially confident, successful, stable, and physically attractive. If a man is these things, many men already know where they stand with women. Men are often more realistic about their desirability than women assume. The The key point here is that attractive men don't chase. They don't need to. They understand their value and don't feel the need to prove it constantly. This ties into the overall theme of confidence and self-assurance in attracting the right options. That's why so many people chase the unavailable, because it protects their ego. When we don't get what we want, it's easier to blame external factors or the other person's lack of readiness. But if someone is emotionally available and still doesn't choose you, it's a different, harder truth to face, that he just didn't want me. And that can be tough to accept. On the other hand, if someone isn't emotionally available, we often tell ourselves, it didn't work because he wasn't ready. We justify the rejection, which can keep us stuck in a cycle of chasing unfulfilling connections. Emotional availability itself can get confusing, especially with dating apps. When you can swipe endlessly, it's tempting to keep hunting for the perfect match, instead of appreciating the good person right in front of you. I've seen this firsthand, like the woman who got ghosted by a man she never even met. She invested emotionally in a potential that never materialized, not in reality. The truth is, millions of single adults today aren't single because they lack options. They're single because they're chasing illusions, idealized versions of love that aren't grounded in reality. And this brings us to a crucial point. Fantasy attraction keeps people from choosing real love. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of someone being perfect, rather than seeing and appreciating the genuine connection right in front of us. And that brings us to the final truth. It's not always fair, but it is honest. You see, if a woman doesn't respond positively, it can come across as creepy. But if she likes you, that same behavior might seem charming or romantic. The key here is attraction. The same action from two different men can feel completely different depending on whether she's attracted to him or not. Women themselves openly admit this. They understand that what's cute or acceptable in one context can be creepy in another, simply based on attraction. So, understanding this distinction is crucial for us as we navigate social interactions, because it shows how much perception is influenced by genuine connection. When it comes to choosing a partner, remember, you don't need the perfect person. What really matters is finding someone who makes real life feel easier, more grounded, and more loving. It's not about someone who sends your nervous system on a roller coaster ride. The right relationship should feel like peace, not adrenaline. Think about compatibility that grows over time, mutual attraction, shared values, consistent interest, genuine effort, emotional safety, clarity, and calm. These are the signs of a healthy connection. Now contrast that with what the wrong person might bring. Sometimes, it's emotional chaos disguised as passion or unrealistic standards we set for ourselves. It could be fantasy attraction, those instant butterflies, or the illusion of perfection. But choosing the right person isn't about chasing perfection. It's about being aligned, finding someone whose values and character match ours, someone who supports our growth and shares a vision for the future. Remember, the right person is the one who brings stability, genuine connection, and a sense of calm in your life. Because at the end of the day, healthy love isn't about being perfect. It's really about presence, maturity, and a mutual willingness to grow together. When we talk about presence, we mean being truly present with each other, showing up fully in the moment. Maturity involves understanding, patience, and emotional intelligence. And mutual willingness is about both people actively choosing each other, even through challenges. Stop chasing the story you created in your head. That's often where confusion and disappointment come from. Instead, start paying attention to the person who is consistently choosing you, not just once, but sincerely over time. Look for someone who shows up reliably and who truly values you without doubt or mixed signals. This final thought ties everything together. Healthy love isn't about perfection or perfect scenarios. It's about real connection, honesty, and mutual choice. When we focus on these qualities, we build relationships that are resilient, genuine, and deeply fulfilling.